What if sleep isn't the silence of the mind, but the awakening of your spirit? Every night we close our eyes and vanish into a world we barely understand. We call it rest, but what if it's more? What if while your body sleeps, your consciousness journeys through hidden dimensions, uncovers forgotten truths, and even glimpses the future? You've been told sleep is unconscious, but everything you've been told about reality may be backwards. Ancient mystics, modern scientists, and millions of spiritual seekers have all pointed to one shocking truth. Your soul doesn't rest when you sleep, it travels. In this video, we're going to uncover the secret life of your consciousness during sleep. We'll explore ancient traditions, mind-blowing scientific findings, and the hidden techniques that can turn your dreams into spiritual revelations. From lucid visions to collective dreams, from astral projection to messages from beyond, your nights are more powerful than you think. So the real question isn't if your consciousness continues during sleep. It's, where does it go? We've been taught to believe that when we fall asleep, our consciousness simply shuts off like a light switch. But what if that's not true? What if sleep isn't the absence of awareness, but rather a portal into a different kind of consciousness, one that's deeper, more fluid, and far more mysterious than waking life allows? Just because your body lies still doesn't mean your mind isn't journeying through realms beyond your usual perception. Sleep might be one of the most misunderstood spiritual experiences we go through every night. Imagine consciousness like a river. When we're awake, it flows through narrow channels shaped by logic, senses, and schedules. But in sleep, that river escapes its banks. Freed from the tight grip of the ego and physical reality, it meanders into hidden valleys, subconscious memories, and ethereal landscapes. We often dismiss dreams as illusions, yet they arise from the very same stream of consciousness that drives our waking life. Isn't that worth pausing for? Science confirms that parts of the brain remain highly active during sleep, especially in dream-rich phases like REM. That alone challenges the idea that sleep equals unconsciousness. In fact, brain activity during REM is almost identical to that of someone awake and meditating deeply. What if those meditative frequencies are the keys to unlocking spiritual dimensions while we rest? Consciousness doesn't disappear, it evolves in sleep. In many mystical traditions, sleep is considered a time when the soul is freed from the body's limitations. Ancient yogis and mystics claimed that in sleep, we return to our source, briefly, naturally, effortlessly. It's like the soul's nightly homecoming. That could explain why people sometimes wake up with answers to problems they never consciously solved, or with a sense of peace they can't explain. Something sacred happens while we sleep. Have you ever felt like you were falling, flying, or being pulled through space right as you were dozing off? These sensations may not be random neurological tricks. They might be glimpses into transitions of consciousness. The body falls asleep, but the awareness moves on. Modern neurology calls this the hypnagogic state, but spiritual traditions call it the doorway. Whatever the name, it hints that something more profound is happening. The key realization is this: we don't lose consciousness in sleep, we simply shift it. It's not that we are absent, but that we're present somewhere else. Think of it like tuning a radio from one station to another. The signal is still strong, just broadcasting on a frequency your waking mind rarely notices. The real question becomes, are we paying attention to what we're experiencing there? And maybe that's why many ancient spiritual texts spoke of dreams and sleep as sacred gifts from the divine. They understood that consciousness in sleep isn't off, it's on a journey, a quiet, invisible journey into ourselves and perhaps into the infinite. If sleep is a nightly departure from the physical plane, then every night is an opportunity to touch the spiritual, to listen, and to awaken a little more. Long before sleep was dissected in laboratories, it was honored in temples. Ancient civilizations believed dreams weren't just mental noise, but sacred messages from divine realms. In Egypt, dreams were seen as direct channels to the gods, visions gifted to pharaohs and priests for prophecy and guidance. Dream temples existed where seekers would sleep in hopes of receiving divine insight. To them, the sleeping state was more sacred than the waking world. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Plato and Aristotle explored dreams with awe and curiosity. Plato proposed that during sleep, the soul temporarily leaves the body and visits higher dimensions, where it can perceive truths that are hidden during waking hours. He believed the soul, unburdened by the physical, could access pure knowledge and eternal forms. Dreams, therefore, were not fantasies. They were glimpses of reality beyond this one. Hindu scriptures, particularly the Upanishads, describe sleep as a journey into deeper layers of the self. They taught that consciousness shifts from the waking world to the dream world, and finally to the deep sleep state, where unity with the divine is briefly restored. In this sacred silence, the soul remembers its origin. These ideas weren't poetic metaphors, they were spiritual maps based on centuries of observation and inner experience. Shamans and indigenous healers across the globe also treated dreams as portals to other worlds. Through ritual, drumming, and plant medicine, they accessed altered dream states to heal, communicate with ancestors, and receive wisdom from spiritual beings. Their traditions viewed the dream world as equally real, if not more real, than the physical world. In fact, the waking life was often considered just one layer of the full spiritual reality. In Tibetan Buddhism, dream yoga is practiced to maintain awareness even while dreaming. Practitioners learn to stay conscious during dreams, to explore subtle realms and dissolve illusions. The dream state becomes a training ground for enlightenment, showing that consciousness can remain active and aware even in the most fluid realities. If dreams can be harnessed for awakening, what does that say about the power of the sleeping mind? What unites all these traditions is the belief that dreaming connects us to something greater, whether it's gods, the soul, ancestral spirits, or universal truth. Dreams are seen as messages that bypass logic and speak directly to the heart and spirit. These ancient insights remind us that our consciousness doesn't just survive sleep, it expands during it, unlocking access to realities our waking senses cannot grasp. In modern times, we've dismissed much of this ancient wisdom, replacing it with sterile interpretations. But what if we're the ones asleep, spiritually blind to a realm our ancestors once walked with reverence? Maybe the true mystery isn't whether dreams mean something, but how we've forgotten that they ever did. To reclaim that meaning, we must first remember what our elders knew. Sleep opens the soul's eyes. Science, though often skeptical of the spiritual, has stumbled upon truths that echo ancient wisdom. In sleep laboratories around the world, researchers have observed that the brain doesn't power down during rest. It powers up in different ways. Especially during REM sleep, the mind lights up with activity. The prefrontal cortex, amygdala, and hippocampus all engage as if we're awake, dreaming with intention and emotional depth. But what is the brain doing, if not traveling elsewhere? EEG scans show that REM sleep generates brainwaves nearly identical to those seen in deep meditation or even near-death experiences. Theta and gamma waves, the same frequencies associated with heightened intuition and spiritual insight, dominate our sleep cycles. This suggests that consciousness, far from shutting off, might be stepping into an altered but equally valid state of awareness. In other words, sleep may be our most accessible altered state. Consider the fact that people often wake up with sudden clarity, solutions to complex problems, bursts of creativity, or profound emotional healing. These aren't coincidences. The brain is reorganizing, filtering, and sometimes even receiving information during sleep. Einstein credited dreamlike states for some of his breakthroughs. Paul McCartney claimed the melody for Yesterday came to him fully formed in a dream. How could such clarity come from unconsciousness? Sleep also appears to simulate real-life scenarios, emotionally and psychologically preparing us for challenges. Lucid dream studies have shown that people can rehearse skills while asleep and perform better when awake. Athletes, musicians, and artists have all reported using dreams as mental practice. The lines between brain function and spiritual insight begin to blur here. Where does inner experience end and consciousness begin? Even more intriguing are studies on people who report out-of-body experiences or intense spiritual awakenings triggered by sleep-related states. The brain patterns in these cases mirror those found in mystical experiences induced by meditation, prayer, or psychedelics. Could sleep, then, be nature's built-in gateway to transcendence? And if so, are we overlooking its true spiritual potential in favor of clinical explanations? Scientists like Dr. Alan Hobson argue that dreaming is the brain's way of simulating alternate realities for survival. But others, like Dr. Andrew Newberg, explore how these brain activities mirror spiritual practices. When we sleep, our default mode network activates, responsible for self-reflection and internal awareness. This is the same part of the brain illuminated during spiritual rituals and deep contemplation. The overlap is too strong to ignore. Maybe sleep isn't just rest, it's revelation, a state in which our inner consciousness is set free to roam, reflect, and reconnect. As we understand more about how the brain works during sleep, we're slowly catching up to what mystics have whispered for millennia, that sleep is not an escape from reality, but a journey deeper into it. Imagine lying in bed, completely relaxed, when suddenly you feel yourself floating above your body. You see your physical form resting peacefully, yet you remain fully aware. This is the essence of what many call an out-of-body experience, OBE. And it's not as rare as you might think. From ancient shamans to modern seekers, countless people report leaving their bodies during sleep, drifting into other realms with astonishing clarity. But what if this isn't a hallucination? What if consciousness can actually travel? Institutions like the Monroe Institute have dedicated decades to studying and teaching these phenomena. Founded by Robert Monroe, a pioneer in exploring altered states, the Institute developed sound technology, HemiSync, to induce OBEs. Participants report traveling to different dimensions, meeting non-physical beings, and even accessing spiritual truths. These experiences, while often dismissed by mainstream science, share remarkable consistency across cultures and individuals. Psychologist Dr. Charles Tart also researched altered states, including OBEs, and found compelling patterns that couldn't be ignored. Subjects reported seeing objects placed in hidden areas, hearing conversations from rooms far away, and returning with detailed accounts that were later verified. Though not all claims can be proven, the consistency and clarity suggest that these are more than dreams. They may point to the mobility of consciousness itself. In traditional spiritual practices, astral projection is not seen as odd, it's cultivated. Ancient Egyptians believed the Ka, or soul body, could move independently. Yogis spoke of the subtle body that could transcend physical boundaries during deep meditation or sleep. In these traditions, sleep was never unconscious. It was the time the spirit explored, and those who mastered this art were seen as sages, seers, or awakened souls. What separates an OBE from a dream is the level of lucidity and detachment from the physical body. People report floating through walls, flying across landscapes, or entering luminous realms beyond earthly comprehension. Many describe a silver cord connecting their spiritual self to the physical body, a detail echoed in both esoteric texts and near-death experiences. This symbolism suggests that even when we travel, our essence remains tethered. There's also the emotional imprint these journeys leave behind. People return with insights, peace, or a new sense of life's sacredness. Some say their fear of death vanishes after such an experience, replaced by awe and understanding. Whether the experience was real, in a physical sense or not, the transformation it triggers is very real. That's the power of contact with higher dimensions. It changes your inner world forever. So what if these moments of separation during sleep are not anomalies, but invitations? Invitations to explore, remember, and reawaken the part of us that knows it's not bound by flesh and bone. If consciousness can move during sleep, perhaps it always has. Perhaps what we call dreaming is just a softened version of a much deeper spiritual journey, one that starts the moment we close our eyes. Before falling asleep, most people scroll through phones, worry about tomorrow, or replay the stress of the day. But what if those final moments before sleep were sacred? What if your emotional and mental state as you drift off sets the tone for the entire journey your consciousness takes during sleep? Just as intention can shape a meditation, prayer, or ritual, so too can it influence your nightly spiritual experience. Consciousness follows focus. Our thoughts are frequencies, and emotions are their amplifiers. When you fall asleep feeling gratitude, peace, or love, you send your consciousness into higher vibrational realms. But if you drift off in fear, anger, or despair, your mind may enter fragmented or restless states. The spiritual world responds to resonance. This is why ancient traditions place such importance on bedtime prayers, chants, or clearing rituals. They weren't habits, they were energetic preparation. In many mystical schools, it's taught that sleep is a return to the divine source. But your emotional luggage determines the path you take to get there. Setting a clear intention, such as "I seek clarity," "I ask for healing," or "let me receive divine wisdom," can direct your consciousness like a compass. It's like planting a seed in fertile ground. With the right care, it grows into symbolic dreams, revelations, or even peaceful silence. Your state before sleep also programs your subconscious. Repeating affirmations like "I am connected," "I release the past," or "I am safe" sends clear signals into the deeper mind, which then shapes your dream content and inner healing. Neuroscience supports this. What you focus on before sleep often appears in your dreams or influences emotional processing. But spiritually, you're doing more than programming memory. You're aligning with higher realms. The heart plays a crucial role in this. Studies by HeartMath Institute show that coherent heart rhythms, created by gratitude, compassion, and love, balance brain activity and improve sleep quality. This harmony seems to open energetic channels that invite deeper, more meaningful dream experiences. The ancient connection between heart and soul isn't metaphor, it's energetic truth. Sleep with an open heart, and you may enter sacred spaces. If consciousness truly journeys while we sleep, then we must treat our entry into sleep like stepping through a spiritual threshold. Smudging your space, praying, journaling, or even a few deep breaths of intentional stillness can cleanse and uplift your field. These small acts transform your bedroom into a temple. You're not just going to sleep, you're going inward, upward, and beyond. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, where do I want my soul to go? You might be surprised where intention takes you. Sleep isn't passive, it's participation. Every night is a ritual, and your consciousness is the pilgrim. The more love and clarity you carry at the start, the deeper your journey can become. Pause for a moment. Has this awakened something in you? Maybe you've had a dream you can't forget, something vivid, symbolic, or even prophetic. If so, I'd love for you to share it in the comments below. What's the most mysterious or spiritual dream you've ever had? You might find that someone else has experienced something eerily similar. Let's uncover this hidden world together, one dream at a time. there's a hidden doorway that opens just before you fall asleep. A delicate, mysterious threshold between wakefulness and dreams. This is the hypnagogic state, a twilight zone where consciousness softens and the boundaries of reality begin to dissolve. It's a fleeting moment, but incredibly powerful. In this state, your brain is in theta wave activity, which is the same frequency experienced during deep meditation and trance. Here, your subconscious is wide open, ready to receive. Great minds throughout history understood this sacred moment. Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla used the hypnagogic state to access insights and ideas they couldn't reach during normal waking hours. They would sit in chairs holding metal balls, allowing themselves to drift towards sleep. As soon as they lost grip and dropped the balls, the noise would wake them up, right at the edge of inspiration. They harvested this mental zone like a spiritual gold mine. Why is this state so powerful? Because the critical filters of the conscious mind relax. In waking life, your rational brain acts like a gatekeeper, rejecting anything it doesn't understand. But in the hypnagogic state, the gatekeeper is distracted, meaning new thoughts, visions, and even guidance can slip in unfiltered. It's the perfect time to plant affirmations, visualizations, or prayers into the subconscious soil. Whatever you feed it here, it will take seriously. For those seeking healing or spiritual growth, this state is a divine ally. You can repeat healing mantras, imagine yourself in divine light, or even ask for clarity on a problem. This isn't imagination. It's subtle energetic communication. The subconscious, deeply connected to the soul, responds with symbols, dreams, and sometimes astonishing clarity upon waking. The key is presence and gentle intention. Even modern science supports this mystical window. Studies show that learning and memory consolidation are strongest right before sleep. Athletes, language learners, and even performers improve faster when they practice mental routines during this phase. But spiritually, the implication is far greater. This is the moment to reprogram not just habits, but beliefs, wounds, and fears. To rewire your soul's path through consciousness. The problem is, we often waste this sacred moment. We scroll, worry, overthink. We fall asleep in chaos. But imagine instead lighting a candle, breathing deeply, and whispering your truth to the universe. Imagine visualizing your ideal self, not in desperation, but with calm certainty. You wouldn't just be preparing for sleep, you'd be shaping your inner world, directing your soul's nightly path. So the next time your eyes grow heavy, remember, you're not just falling asleep, you're entering the most spiritually programmable moment of the day. Treat it like a ritual. Give your subconscious a sacred message, and let your consciousness flow gently into the dream realm, carrying that message into deeper dimensions. Not all dreams are created equal. Some come wrapped in surreal symbols, while others feel more real than waking life. There are those that vanish like smoke at dawn, and others that imprint on your soul forever. But if consciousness continues during sleep, then perhaps each type of dream is a different path your awareness takes. A map of the multidimensional mind. Understanding the kinds of dreams you have could help you interpret where your spirit has been. Symbolic dreams are the most common. They don't speak in words, but in metaphor, like a spiritual language made of images and emotions. Dreaming of water might reflect emotional depth or transformation. Being chased could signal inner resistance. The key isn't the event, it's how it made you feel. These dreams are like letters from your subconscious, coded in archetypes. Carl Jung believed they reveal the soul's hidden work. Lucid dreams take things a step further. In them, you become aware that you're dreaming and can even take control. Suddenly, you're flying, creating worlds, or asking questions and receiving answers. In lucid dreaming, your consciousness becomes an active participant in the dreamscape, Many spiritual traditions see this as training for greater awareness in all states, waking or sleeping. If you can be conscious while dreaming, what else can you wake up to? Precognitive dreams are the most mysterious. You dream of a conversation, a place, or an event, only to encounter it days later in waking life. Science struggles to explain these, but spiritual thinkers suggest it's evidence that in sleep, our consciousness may access information outside linear time. Perhaps dreams are glimpses through the veil, showing us threads of destiny before they unfold. What if sleep lets us rehearse the future? Then there are spiritual or visitation dreams, those that feel like more than just dreams. You encounter deceased loved ones, divine beings, or environments soaked in peace and light. These dreams leave you with a sense of clarity, healing, or awe. Many believe these are not symbolic, but literal moments of spiritual contact. The consciousness in these dreams feels different, expanded, reverent, whole. It's as if the soul temporarily remembers where it came from. Recurring dreams serve as messages the spirit insists we understand. They echo unresolved emotions, ignored lessons, or spiritual truths we're meant to integrate. These aren't punishments, they're prompts. Consciousness uses repetition when we resist evolution. Until we truly listen, the dream keeps knocking. When we embrace its lesson, it often stops. The pattern ends, and peace returns to the dream realm. Every type of dream reveals something about your inner state, your soul's direction, or the invisible connections guiding your life. And while some are shaped by memory or stress, others originate from deeper wells of knowing. The question is, do you treat your dreams like noise or as sacred maps from the unseen? Your consciousness speaks every night. It's time to start listening. Because when you begin to decode the messages, dreams become more than dreams. They become dialogue. They become the bridge between your earthly life and your eternal self. And once that bridge is open, every night holds the potential for transformation. Have you ever had a dream so vivid that you told someone about it, only to discover they had the same dream? Or a dream where you met a person, and they later said they felt your presence during their sleep? These shared dream experiences may sound unbelievable, but they're more common than you might think. They challenge everything we believe about consciousness being limited to one body, one brain, or one self. What if, during sleep, our minds merge in a collective field? Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious, a vast shared reservoir of symbols, memories, and archetypes that all humans can access. He believed dreams weren't just personal, they were cultural and universal, shaped by a shared spiritual inheritance. When we dream, we may be diving into that collective ocean, sometimes meeting others swimming in the same space. In sleep, the boundary between self and other softens. Throughout history, spiritual groups have practiced dream sharing intentionally. Indigenous tribes, Sufi mystics, and Tibetan monks have gathered to discuss dreams, believing that dreaming together can reveal group insights, future events, or divine instructions. These weren't seen as coincidences, but confirmations that consciousness can network beyond the physical, especially in states of altered awareness like sleep. Modern accounts support this. There are stories of twins who dream identical scenes, of couples who visit the same astral space, of strangers reporting the same symbolic dreams before global events. While science struggles to explain this, the phenomenon invites a radical question. Does sleep connect us through an invisible web of consciousness, allowing our spirits to rendezvous beyond time and space? Consider this. If consciousness is energy, and energy is not bound by distance, then why wouldn't our minds touch in the dream realm? Just as radio frequencies can overlap, perhaps dreams allow spiritual frequencies to sync. When two people carry similar emotional or spiritual resonance, their dreams may vibrate in harmony. This would mean that love, grief, intention, or even destiny could create shared dream bridges. These encounters often feel more real than waking life. They carry an emotional weight, a clarity that lingers. People awaken changed, convinced they met someone in another world, whether through collective memory, astral travel, or a spiritual network still unexplored. The experience is profound. It suggests that consciousness isn't isolated. It's communal, like stars in a constellation, glowing brighter when they align. So when you sleep tonight, consider this: you may not be alone. You may be part of a vast spiritual gathering where souls meet, connect, and remember. And maybe, just maybe, the people you dream with are the ones you're spiritually meant to walk beside. In that sacred space beyond the body, we remember that we are not separate, we are one. In our waking life, time feels like a straight line, past behind us, future ahead. But in dreams, time bends, loops, and sometimes disappears altogether. You can live out a lifetime in 5 minutes, jump between childhood and old age in one scene, or glimpse something that hasn't happened yet. These moments aren't just quirks of the mind. They may be glimpses into how consciousness truly experiences time when freed from the body's illusion of linearity. Many people report dreams that later unfold in waking life, events, conversations, places they've never been. These precognitive dreams defy rational explanation, but have been documented for centuries. From Abraham Lincoln dreaming his own funeral to everyday people sensing upcoming disasters or breakthroughs, the message is clear. During sleep, consciousness may travel outside the timeline we think is fixed. Quantum physics supports this possibility. Some theories suggest that all points in time exist simultaneously and that consciousness might access any of them depending on frequency or resonance. In this view, dreams aren't fantasies, they're time slips. When the ego sleeps, the soul may move freely through time's web, witnessing pieces of what was, what is, and what might be. The future may already be written in spirit. The Tibetan dream yogis and mystics of various cultures understood this long ago. They trained to become conscious in dreams to receive future guidance, spiritual instruction, or divine warnings. They didn't believe time was an arrow. They believed it was a circle, a spiral, or a field, and dreams were one way to walk its hidden paths. In this view, sleep becomes not just rest, but revelation. If you've ever had a déjà vu moment, a feeling that you've been somewhere before or lived through a conversation, it might not be coincidence. It might be memory catching up to what your soul already saw in a dream. These moments suggest that our consciousness weaves threads beyond what our eyes can follow. We just forget until life reminds us. Learning to tune into these kinds of dreams requires sensitivity and intention. Keeping a dream journal, practicing stillness before bed, and setting an open-ended question, like "show me what I need to see," can prime your mind to receive non-linear insights. Over time, patterns emerge. You begin to sense that time isn't chasing you, it's waiting for you to awaken to its true nature. So if consciousness moves freely while you sleep, then perhaps you've already visited your future. Maybe you've walked through doorways not yet opened in your waking life. The real question is, are you listening? Are you willing to let go of the clock and follow the soul instead? Because in dreams, time doesn't limit you. It invites you to remember that you were never bound by it. Your dreams are a doorway, but like any sacred path, they require preparation. The more intention you bring to your sleep, the more vivid, meaningful, and spiritually transformative your dreams can become. One of the most effective tools is keeping a dream journal. The simple act of writing down your dreams the moment you wake up sends a message to your subconscious: I'm listening. Over time, your dream recall improves, and you begin to notice symbols, patterns, and spiritual messages hiding in plain sight. Setting a clear intention before sleep is another powerful practice. Instead of passively drifting off, speak directly to your consciousness. I ask to receive wisdom. "Show me what I need to release," or "Let me remember my dreams tonight." This isn't just wishful thinking, it's energetic alignment. Your spirit hears you, and sleep becomes a collaboration between your soul and the universe. Meditation before bed helps slow the mind and soften the veil between waking and dreaming. Even 5 minutes of conscious breathing, visualization, or heart-centered focus can shift your vibration dramatically. You're not just relaxing, you're tuning your frequency to higher channels of consciousness. Many dreamers report more vivid, lucid, or spiritual dreams after nighttime meditation. It's like clearing static from your spiritual radio. Cleansing your energy field is equally important. Negative emotions, stress, or residual energy from the day can weigh down your consciousness and cloud your dreams. Burning sage or incense, taking a salt bath, or simply doing a mental scan to release tension can clear the clutter. In ancient traditions, these rituals were done before entering temples, and your sleep space is your nightly temple. There are also specific herbs and natural aids that have been used for centuries to enhance dreams. Mugwort, blue lotus, and passion flower are known for their dream-enhancing properties. Used in teas, oils, or placed under pillows, these plants can support deeper sleep and more profound dreams. But as always, approach them with respect and intention. They are allies, not shortcuts. Lucid dreaming techniques, such as reality checks or waking back to sleep, WBTB, can help you become aware while dreaming. Once lucid, you can ask questions, explore symbolic realms, or even meet spiritual guides. These experiences can be profoundly healing and illuminating, but the foundation remains the same: awareness, intention, and a heart open to receive. Above all, approach your dreams with reverence. They're not just random images, they're echoes of the soul, maps of the unseen, and sometimes whispers from beyond. When you treat sleep as sacred, your dreams respond in kind. The more you practice, the more the dream world opens, and one day you may realize your most powerful teacher has been waiting every night just beyond the veil of sleep. Now that you've seen what truly happens when you sleep, one thing is clear: your nights are anything but empty. Each dream, each whisper of intuition, each moment before you drift off, they are sacred invitations. Your consciousness is not bound to your brain. It moves, listens, explores, and connects beyond this world. But this isn't just something to think about, it's something to live. Start tonight, set an intention, cleanse your space, breathe deeply, ask for guidance, write down your dreams, treat sleep as a sacred journey, and it will begin to reveal its secrets. So ask yourself, what is my soul trying to show me at night? Am I ready to remember? And if this video helped open your eyes to the spiritual side of sleep, I invite you to join this journey with me. Subscribe, activate the bell, and share your most mysterious dream in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, because the truth is, you were never truly asleep. You were exploring, and now it's time to awaken.